Welcome back to the Forward Moves podcast. Today we are going to be diving into all things systems and fitness businesses with our co-host Kira.
Hello.
Hello.
Very excited.
This is episode 2 of our podcast and we are really excited to be speaking about this topic today. This is one of our favorite topics to talk about and something that we talk about every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. So today we are going to be jumping into systems. Now I know that we touched on this last week, but today we're actually going to be diving into the nitty-gritty of fitness business systems and what you need to know about them.
Yeah, and not even just like the main systems, but also like the setting up of things too. Like the main basis of your business and primarily kind of the words that we throw around all the time and what they actually mean in a bit more detail.
Yeah, absolutely. In particular, we're going to be speaking about domains, websites, email marketing, touching a little bit on trading apps, and Zapier.
Yeah. Kind of like automations and baseline systems.
I feel like you'll find in every episode we'll touch on everything because it's all connected, but we will pull it apart quite a lot.
Yeah. Definitely.
So let's jump straight in with systems. So we're going to start from the very start. Now I know that we mapped out the customer journey in the last episode around how they come to us and we do the inquiry to the exit, but we're actually going to dive into the details and the logistics around what we actually do. So the first thing that we do is we look at emails, basically.
Yeah.
Just need to move that. Like on top of me. So the first thing that we do is we actually look at what kind of email you're using. So really common to have a Gmail or a hosted email, Hotmail, Outlook, whatever you want to use. Yeah. But recently Google have actually brought in some new laws. So Google have brought in some new laws, which means that you can't connect a hosted email to any email marketing platforms, including websites and email marketing platforms, basically. Yeah. So we actually wanted to dive into the fundamentals of domains. So this is something that is very confusing. I remember when I started, I was like, what is this? And I don't understand it. So this is really Kira's forte. So let's dive straight into what is a domain.
Well, actually, I'm going to take it back a little bit more than that with you talking about the Google update first. So essentially what that means is, like, I don't know if you mentioned it at the end there, but it was like you can't connect to an email marketing platform unless you have an owned email address with your own business name. So instead of it being at Gmail, at hotmail.com, whatever it is, it needs to be at yourbusiness.com.au, whatever it is at the end. So that's what we're going to primarily get into at the start. So domains is essentially, we have come up with a great analogy on how to explain it, which we will get into. But
if we don't say so ourselves.
A domain is essentially like your business on the web, like on the website, in existence kind of thing. It's how you put on the map.
Yeah. So a domain is you buy I'm going to say it in a really advanced way, but you buy a numeric code and it's got a name attached to it. So our domain is Forward Moves, which means our emails are forwardmoves.com.au and our website is forwardmoves.com.au.
Yeah, pretty much. So you're pretty much, other than buying like your business name, you also need to buy the domain name. So your business name is kind of how it exists in the business world, but the domain name is how it exists online.
All right, let's go back because I feel like that is going to confuse a few people. So let's even go back to registration of business names. So when you are a sole trader, you typically set up your business under your name. So my sole trader name is Ashley Robertson. And if you want to create a business name, so let's just say Forward Moves, you would go to the website and you would see if the business name is available and you would buy it, and then that would be attached to your ABN. Now, let your accountant do this. This is what they do and this is what they're really good at. So once you decide on your business name, that is the first step that you would need to do, but the domain is definitely the second step.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like making sure that you exist in real life and online. Yeah, you need to do both.
Yeah, I've always been a big believer. Before the laws even came in, it's just professional.
Yeah, it is.
When you're working with a business that's Ashley at Forward Moves, you know they're working for a business.
Yeah. Yeah. Where if you're like, oh, email me, my name is like at business name at gmail.com.
Yeah.
It's
and
kind of like, oh.
It doesn't take away from your business. It doesn't account to business growth. It doesn't, it's not a huge deal. It's just that 1%.
Yeah. It seems to make it really formalized. And it is one of those things that like once we get a client like set up with their business name, like with their domain email, they're like, oh, I look so professional.
Yeah.
It's like putting the bow on top of the present. Like you're just like, oh,
I own this.
Like my business name is everywhere.
Yeah. I see it as important because I'm definitely one of the 1%ers that love that kind of stuff. But actually, it is meant. I was going to say it's not needed, but it is needed because of the Google laws.
It is now needed. So Google pretty much made it impossible for you to send out any emails unless you have the domain email address.
This is through an email marketing platform.
Essentially is because of spam emails. Yeah. So because they've gotten out of control. Yeah. I feel like even now our emails. Oh.
I'm so over it. No, I don't want help with my SEO. No, I don't want more followers on my Instagram.
Me, so
leave me alone. But what Kira's saying is you can still send emails from a Gmail from your personal inbox, but if you were to set up an email marketing platform, this is where Google has the limitation where you actually need to have a domain these days.
Yeah, and the bit that our clients kind of run into trouble with is setting up that process because it is a process and it requires a lot of testing and connecting and so many things.
And you know what? It's not something that anyone needs to know besides a specialist.
No. And it's one of those things that we spoke about in the last episode where it's like, how did I learn this? I don't even know how. I just randomly had to do it for a client and I worked out how to do it. And then from then on, anytime anyone had to do it, they're like, Kira,
help me.
You do it. And then I just got really good at it. Yeah. And then we even had like problems that we would go to our contractor for to help, but I would get him to explain it to me. Yeah. And be like, how did you fix that?
Yeah. So and then we have a developer behind the scenes. Ben is our lifesaver. He has saved us so many times. And he is the smartest tech person in the world.
I've been trying to fix this for like an hour.
And he's
that's
easy.
That's simple.
What are you whinging about?
But also it's like one of those things that like, how would I know that? Like, of course he's good at it. He does it every day.
Yeah. You're like, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
And I'm like, I'm so stupid for not knowing this. And then I'm like, no, actually, it's not my job to know that.
He's great. If you want Ben's details, let us know.
He will fix anything.
So let's come back to domains. Yeah. So seeing as it is a required part of the process if you want to set up systems with your business, what is it? Where do you get it from? What does it do?
Yeah. So domain, essentially what we've been saying, our domain, for an example, is forwardmoves.com.au. Mm-hmm. That's our domain and it's attached to everything. If you're wanting to buy a domain, there are multiple different platforms that you can buy it from. You can buy it from a domain provider that solely provides domains. A lot of the time they will do other things, but that is their main purpose. And you can also buy domains from website hosted platforms as well, which confuses people a lot. It is very confusing if you don't know which one to go with, what are the differences, why should I buy from this one versus this one. And there are a lot of domain hosted platforms even that some people will come and I'll be like, where's your domain hosted from? And they'll tell me a platform and I'm like, I've never heard of this.
Yeah, there's like Crazy Domains
and Domain Central and
guys, don't just buy off GoDaddy. GoDaddy's so good.
Yeah,
it's the safest. Ben told us that.
Look, it is really safe, and the integrations that it has and the user friendliness that it has too, way better. As soon as somebody tells me that they're not on GoDaddy, I'm like, no.
Well, we do prefer GoDaddy. There is a limitation to GoDaddy, though. We'll get into that in a second. Emails. And as Kira said, you can either buy through a domain site. So like GoDaddy, Crazy Domains, we recommend GoDaddy. And you can also buy through website hosted platforms. Now, this is where people get really confused because your website is not your domain.
No.
So platforms have made domains accessible because they want you to have it all in one place, basically.
Yeah. They want you to use them for everything because they also want you to pay for as many things in their subscription.
Yeah. And the only other one that we really recommend is Squarespace domains, because Squarespace just bought out Google domains throughout the whole legal change, everything like that. So they actually have the connection to Google Suite.
Yeah, if you actually have a Google purchase domain, your domain will actually change to be hosted through Squarespace at the moment.
So they're the two platforms we recommend. And the only difference between these two
is where your email is hosted.
Yeah.
Essentially. So Google, they're now Squarespace, will now be hosted on Google. Yeah. So your email is through Gmail. Yeah. Essentially, that's where you log in from.
Yeah. So your inbox is Gmail.
Yeah. Your inbox is Gmail hosted. Yeah. Yeah. And then GoDaddy is Microsoft hosted. So Microsoft 365, Outlook. That's where GoDaddy's email will be hosted from.
Yeah. We find that a lot of our clients prefer Gmail, and that's fair because we use Google Drive for everything.
Yeah.
I think more organizations would be Microsoft because we use Teams and everything else as well. And GoDaddy has just got a partnership with them, whereas Squarespace is probably the best option for coaches that want to keep it all in the Google Drive space.
Yeah, which you can sort of like open up your Chrome. You've got all of your tabs of everything that you use, and then you can open up Gmail straight from the same one instead of having it split into two different ones. But if you're someone who likes to keep your emails all in one space in its own little spot on your computer, then Outlook works great too.
Yeah. Let's make it even more complicated. So once you purchase your domain, once you get your name, you get your Forward Moves name, that doesn't mean you have an email.
No.
Oh, no.
It doesn't. So
they get you.
They get you. Like it makes it a little bit hard because like there are a few things that you need to purchase, but again, they're all not that costly.
No, you're looking at around $10 a month.
$10 a month, depending on how much storage that you need in your email address. This is a reminder right now. Clean your emails out.
Yeah.
Clean your emails, keep them clean, because the more that you just let them sit there, the more it could actually cost you.
Yeah. We work off inbox zero.
Yeah.
That's what we work off.
Yeah, we do like it. It makes me stressed if I open up my emails and there's too many there. I'm like, nope, I need to sit down and focus and move these to their folders or action them, get rid of them. I don't want them there.
This is also a really good tip. If you are going to be purchasing an email on a domain, do not sign up to any email marketing on it. So with us, we have like our emails, and then we have like an MA Drive email or, you know, our Gmail accounts, and we'll sign up to all email marketing through the Gmail accounts, and we'll keep our personal professional ones without the email marketing subscriptions, because then you're not deleting 100 emails a day.
Yeah.
And it's just really easy and really clean. And normally when coaches come to us or clients come to us, their Gmail has 500 subscriptions in it. So it's a clean slate.
Yeah.
You're starting
like
fresh.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Like, this is
do
your
not sign up to anything.
This is your fresh email.
Yeah.
Keep it business related only. Yeah. This is where your invoicing goes. This is where client inquiries go. This is where everything related to your business goes. Do whatever you want with your other one.
Yeah.
Don't
just
care.
let it pile up.
Yeah. Let it pile up. But the one that you're paying for, keep it clean.
Yeah. So when you purchase a domain, you have to purchase an email to that domain. So info at, admin at, Ashley at, Kira at, you have to actually purchase the individual email, which costs around $5 a month to host, roughly.
Something like that.
So you have to purchase this on top of the domain, and then you'll have your admin at forwardmoves.com.au email.
Also, another reason why we do like GoDaddy is a lot of the times they can be on the cheaper side for the email purchases at all. A lot of the time.
Yeah, we host through them, and they're quite cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not bad. Which a lot of the time people come on, and if they're on a different domain platform before we get into their build, I'll be like, do you want to transfer?
Yeah. And that's another thing. If you purchase on, say, Crazy Domains and you want to move to GoDaddy, you can.
Yeah.
It just costs around $50. We get Ben to do it. And he knows how to do it. But basically you can just change the host.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's just a processing fee. You change the host. Sometimes it can take like a week or so, but it literally won't change anything with what you're doing. It won't wreck anything. It's just changing where that lives to a different site.
So we're gonna explain domains with an analogy. We think it's great.
we think it's great if we do say so ourselves.
Okay.
But essentially, your domain is your block of land that you have purchased. So say you're looking at building a house. Your domain is your block of land.
Sorry, people are going to be listening to this and be like, what?
Where have you gone? So
Stay with this. Stay with this.
Stay with this. It'll make sense. So your domain is your block of land.
Yeah.
You've purchased that block of land. You own it. That's your domain, forwardmoves.com.
On Forward Moose Street.
You're going to make it confusing.
Sorry,
Don't bring in streets.
Sorry. You own land. You own land online.
Yeah. So you've purchased that block of land. Then you want to build your website, which is your house. And you can build your website on a website hosted platform like Squarespace, anything like that. But just because you have a website doesn't mean you have a domain.
You just got a house floating in the air.
You've just got a house floating in the air. It's with the builders, like somewhere else in building
It's
land.
a show home.
It's a show home.
It's on one of them trailers.
So you want to build your house, you want to buy your block of land, and then you're going to put that house on your block of land. And that is essentially what your website is and what your domain is. So hopefully that
then the
makes
email?
a little bit more sense. And then the email is your street number. Yeah, your number, your house number.
Yeah.
That's what your email is. That's where all of your letters go.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you get all your communication to your
That's
house.
how you got all your communication is your letterbox with your number on it.
And so basically with the domain, there is something called a redirection. So your domain sits there and it like spits out, I'm here, connect something to me. And basically you say connect to Squarespace and then it puts light onto Squarespace and goes, you're live on the web.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. So that is why it's important.
Which I know that people know kind of what these are. If you already have your house on your land that exists and these changes happened, you would have got a thing that said, you need to update your DNS settings.
Yeah.
And people are like,
we'll get to that in a
what the
second.
hell are DNS settings?
Before we
that's how what you just mentioned, that's what that is that's how it gets there.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Domain name server.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that we'll get to that in a second because that's a lot. Okay, so we've gotten past the domain, and then normally the next question we get is, what do I host my website on?
Yeah.
Now, this is a question we get a lot, and in the industry, there's a lot of he said, she said, this is better than that, that's better than this, and honestly, WordPress is the platform that is preferred in developer land. So WordPress is not a hosted platform, you own it, which means when you build on WordPress, you have to pay for malware and you have to pay for security and you have to pay for payment plugins and you need to pay to build out basically the house. You need to build out to pay the house, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, and that's a really good way to explain it.
You actually have to pay people to build
out the house. Whereas when you're deciding to build on a platform like Wix or Squarespace, the house is built, but you just need to design it.
Yeah. You've basically been given a tool belt and you are the builder.
Yeah, basically. And Squarespace is definitely our main platform that we build on. Yeah. We love it, and there are a few reasons for this. So number one is you just don't need a WordPress website. I'm sorry. This is contrary to whatever you believe in, but honestly, as a sole trader, as a coach, you just want to build on a platform that you don't have to pay a developer to edit. Yeah. We will, for example, when we build websites out on Squarespace, we build them from scratch. So we build all the elements as, we won't use the template. We build everything from scratch. Our designer wireframes it, and we build it on the website like that. And then we train our clients on how to actually edit and how to put links into buttons and how to do all these things. Whereas we were on WordPress and every time we wanted to make an edit, we had to pay a developer $500.
Every time.
And we just want to bring that cost down for our clients.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And also giving you the tools on how to know how to change things so that if you bring in another service, if you change your pricing, if you change what the inclusions are in your packages, you know how to easily jump online, make the edits yourself, boom, you're done.
And then you're not paying for plugins to pay because Stripe's already connected. You're not paying for malware because Squarespace does it all. Yep. You're just paying Squarespace every single month to host the platform, which we prefer that. So we build on Squarespace because they have connected to Google and they are a really great platform. They have improved in the last 12 to 18 months and they're really good with searchability. They're really good, with SEO. They connect well to Google Business because they bought out Google. So it really is that priority platform that we pick.
And it is handy, like you can, like with Squarespace, you can literally have everything in the one spot, which is really handy.
Yeah, besides email marketing. I know it's in the spot, but don't use it. We'll get to that in a second. And then you have platforms like Wix. We used to build on Wix for our customers, and Wix is really customizable. It's still a really great platform. We just found that moving on to Squarespace was that little bit more user-friendly, a lot better for our customers to learn. We found that, you know, it was a much user-friendly on the admin end. So it really, we could dive into what's better and what's not and all of that kind of stuff. But honestly, if you're a coach and you're looking to launch in the space, you don't need to drop tens of thousands of dollars on a premium website on a WordPress platform that you're probably not going to use. There is a time and place for that. There is a time and place. There is a time and place when you scale, but there's nothing wrong with a Squarespace website.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have the funds to get someone to help you build that out, there's templates that you can utilize on it. Yeah. It's a really great user-friendly platform.
And they also have so many videos, like so many how-to videos. Like they've got such a big platform for like how to do everything yourself too. Like it can be really hard if you're not a tech-savvy person, but you still can use it.
Yeah.
Like you can work it out, but if you don't want to spend the time working it out, then go to someone else.
And honestly, that is the reason we have a lot of clients come to us and say, I spent 6 months trying to build my website and I just give up.
I just stop every time because I get over it and I can't do something and then it just never gets done.
Yeah, and you want it to look professional. You want it to look your own. You want to have that design flair. So, so that's basically the domains. And this is the question we get quite a lot. There are a lot of different intricacies when it comes to domains. The amount of time it takes to go live. Your website won't go live straight away because the light needs to reach the website. You know, there's a lot there.
And
but
honestly, like times can vary. Like
we had a 4-day one.
Yeah, we had it took 4 days for it to go live, for it to transfer over to the new website to go live. And then we've got ones that are like live within the hour. Yeah. Like, so you've got to be prepared that you need to have
your website will be down.
Yeah, your website will be down and you never have like a definitive date of how long it'll take.
And there's a couple things too. If you, like for example, if you're coming through the business moves with us and you're setting up a new domain, that's fine. You can play around with it yourself. But if you have a business, so for example, if we were to move to a different platform, we would not touch our domain because if something goes wrong with our domain, we lose all of our emails. We lose absolutely everything. We lose our email marketing platform. It's connected to everything. So once you start to get that little bit bigger, once you start connecting it to platforms, once you start connecting it into the different facets of your business, don't play around with it because it will shut down your business. And my biggest fear is, you know, if we were to ever change names again or redirect our domain or accidentally do something wrong with it, we'd lose our email marketing platform, and that's 50% of our business. And it's really important to have someone you trust. And I don't think Kira's ever touched the Forward Moves domain. It's been like a big no-no. Like, do not touch it.
I would never touch that. I know my limitations. I know that I'm the tech queen, but as soon as like if you come with a new domain, you've purchased it, great.
Yeah.
Happy to do that. But as soon as you're like, oh, it's already connected to this website, I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not touching it.
And that's another thing. If you are changing business names, so a really great example with us, MA Services to Forward Moves. Your domain has a lot of data memory on it, so searchability, things like that. So when you are setting up a new business and, for example, MA Services Forward Moves, we got Ben to redirect the MA Services domain to Forward Moves. So anytime someone Googles MA Services, Forward Moves pops up. Anytime, all our data went through to the Forward Moves email. So it's not, we're not starting again.
Yeah, all of our emails. Yeah, if anybody has
besides
our old
mine.
email. Yeah, besides yours. I don't know what happened to yours. Like the most important one.
I know. Like when we were doing the transition, everyone's emails was an alias, which means if you emailed Kira at MA Services, it would go through to Kira at Forward Moves. Yeah. But mine wasn't. No. Mine was the only email that didn't do that. So I just said, I have brand new emails.
So weird.
So bad.
But yeah, so that's what we don't touch.
Yep.
I'm
like,
no.
And don't you touch it, because honestly, Ben has had to help us get ourselves out of a lot of issues like that
Yeah.
that we've done to ourselves personally.
Yeah.
And it's because we were like, oh no, we can do it alone. We don't want to pay the cost. And we were like, ended up costing us more.
Yeah.
Way more. So that's domains. We're waffling a lot. But as you can see, we work with domains a lot. And this is a really common question we get. You know, if I'm buying a domain, why do I need to buy an email? Why do I need to buy a website? The costs do start accruing. Just this part here is probably $50 a month.
Yeah. To be fair though, sometimes like Squarespace, they are good in the way that if you buy an annual website purchase, you'll get one free email with your annual purchase.
That's nice.
Yeah. So there are some inclusions that you can get. So like sometimes paying more ahead, you do get some things included. So worth looking at that as well when you're looking at which domain provider. I feel like a lot of people just Google the domain that they want and then they just purchase it off the same thing. It is annoying at the bit that like you literally have to search up everything that you're doing, do your research on everything, because also you want to make the right call. Like you want to make the best decisions for everything on your business, because tell you what, sometimes transferring things and moving things later, so annoying.
Honestly, with the rebrand with us, we lost half our email marketing list from transferring it wrong.
Yeah.
So mistakes, guys, big mistakes. So that's the first part. And although this is this is my favorite part, with Squarespace, it does have multiple different areas. It does have an email marketing platform. Don't use it. Do not use it. Do not use the email marketing attached to websites.
I haven't even used it, so I don't know what your vendetta is against the email marketing platform.
Well, first of all, it sucks. A platform should be built for what it does exclusively. Squarespace hosts websites. Be good at that. Because they're so good at websites, they're crap at email marketing.
Yeah.
You should always, and this is the thing, we will always encourage you to use multifunctional platforms, but please do not set up an email marketing platform through your website. Yeah. And we're going to tell you why. And then we're going to get into the difficult part of setting up the email marketing platform. So the reason why we say this is because your email marketing platform acts as a CRM. There's a lot of laws around email marketing. There's a lot of marketing laws, you know, the ability for people to opt in, things like that. Your email marketing platform should be a platform that you prioritize to be on its own. You should not be using your Squarespace. You should not be using your Wix, because if one day you decide to move from that Squarespace site into a WordPress site, guess what? You're up shit creek.
You will lose it all.
Because you have to transfer all your data over. And a really great example of this actually is we have done a lot of Kajabi websites lately.
Yeah.
We've moved a lot of websites off Kajabi into Squarespace, and we have had to download every single list individually, upload them into a new platform, and basically start them all over again. And the time of that process, it's not the end of the world. No. I'm making it sound like it's a catastrophe, but it's not. But just set it up on a different platform. Yeah. And connect it in. Like that is the only one thing we would recommend, is always have an individual email marketing platform.
Yeah. And that's also how I kind of feel about domains, is like have your domain purchased on a domain platform, then you can redirect it wherever you want, instead of like purchasing it here. Then if you ever move from here, then you have to move it over here.
We've had a couple that are like, I've got a domain on Wix, but I use Squarespace, and it's just really confusing.
Yeah,
like,
I bought my domain here because I used to have my website here, but now my website is here, and then
it's so confusing.
Yeah,
but that number one tip from me: if you come through our doors, we're gonna say, nope. No. You need an email marketing platform.
You need an email marketing platform. We will spend the time moving it for you. We'll do it for you. But we're disappointed.
Yes. So let's get into email marketing platforms, because I also feel that this topic is one that we are very well known for, and I have no idea how.
I don't know what you did to get so good at
I think I got on a podcast
marketing.
once and I spoke about it, and next thing you know, it's like, Paula Muse does email marketing.
Yeah. Apparently it's our number one service.
And then I just write them.
Yeah, you just write them. I was just like, I don't even know how I come up with half of this shit.
Here you go, a little tip that you might not know. I do all the email marketing for the membership.
Yeah.
I write up all the emails.
Yeah, you do.
Because I like my emails and I'm very particular about how they're written.
Yeah.
But let's talk about email marketing. This is a big one. And I feel like this is something that we did. We did not have email marketing when we started for the first year, and I regret it with every ounce of my soul, because we did not take advantage of the leads. Now, the reason why we will set you up on an email marketing platform at the very start, we get a lot of comments of, I'm too new, like, you know, I don't need it. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why, even if you're not using it, your leads are going into that platform and there's customers, potential customers sitting in that platform. And for example, if you've got 2,000 followers online, 10% of your followers are probably going to see a post. If you've got 500 people in your email marketing platform, 250 people are probably going to see that email come through.
Yeah.
And we are going to have an episode alone on email marketing because I could talk about this for yonks.
I was even about to say something and then I was like, nope, this isn't an email marketing topic.
Like, we are very passionate about this topic. It is so important to have. And I can attest to it. Our business has grown significantly since prioritizing email marketing, because I would say 50 to 70% growth since using email marketing.
Yeah.
Remember I sent out an email about 18 months ago and we got 10 calls booked from it and you were like, oh, rot roll.
Yeah, big rot roll. That's like my tagline in the work in this business, by the way.
You're like, please stop.
If anyone wants to know. She sent it out and I was like, have you put a cap on this? And she was like, no. I was like, okay.
You can handle it, it's fine.
Yeah, and we were like, oh my God.
I think we converted like 80%.
Yeah.
Too, and you were just like,
wild. I was like,
me.
I think I was away.
You might have been going to Bali the next week.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, you just start it when you get back.
You were like, right? And I was like, I'm not even here. Like, honestly, anytime anyone goes away in the team, Ash will do something to your Ash will do something to your job.
I'll tear the come back. It's like, so we're not running the same. We don't have the same offer and you're not in the same role anymore.
Surprise. You didn't work here. No.
1 week is a long time in small business.
Oh man, in Ash's world, 1 week is a long time.
Another thing as well, I've got the nickname Yeet.
Yes.
So I like to, on the weekends.
She's got in trouble a few times. And Ash can always tell when she's in trouble.
I always get in so much trouble.
No, she can tell even if
Lisa gets, Ash, what's happened? Sorry.
Even if I don't say that I'm angry at her, she can tell.
Where's this document?
Yeah. You're like,
So I get annoyed with how messy the Google Drive gets.
Which isn't even that messy,
and I just put everything in the rubbish bin. And sometimes I delete everything in the rubbish bin.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, Lisa and Kira will open up things and be like, where is it?
And I'm like, okay.
And there's had to be like we call it yeeting, because they just yeet everything.
She's like, she just gets the shits and she just like, there's
a yeeting ban. Don't yeet it until you check. So now I have to put it in the management chat and be like,
wait, can I
have approval?
I'd be like, hang on, get rid of it. We have to check what it is. Because one time it actually delayed something.
Yeah,
of a client's.
It was like a checklist or something.
No, it was designs in a drive, and you deleted the drive. And you deleted the folder, and then the outside company was like, "Hey, I can't access this folder."
Why?
Apple Designs.
Well, that's right. I was like, bye. Yeah. I don't need you anymore. That's because it was, it had a really weird name on the folder title. I was like, bye. I've had enough of you. It's like I just get hyper fixated to the folders. I'm like, I can't keep looking at you. You need to leave. So yeah.
Anyway, and then she got in trouble for that. And it was our communication, our Slack. No, ClickUp. It was ClickUp. And yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, and that is a good story.
All of the staff.
No. I'm going to put partial blame on you for that. You didn't tell me that all your notes were on ClickUp.
Yeah, well, I did not have to tell you. We even were like, oh, you can have personal files that like only you could see. Like when we first started it, I come back on Monday and Ash was like, oh, I downgraded ClickUp.
This is when we moved to Slack, hey?
Yeah.
God, we've moved so many platforms.
So many platforms.
We've done it too, guys. We've gone through a lot of platforms.
Yeah.
Basically,
I came online and I was like, what happened to Slack, ClickUp? And you were like, oh, I downgraded it. And I was like, I have personal notes with like all of my notes.
Everyone did.
Everyone did. And everyone was so mad. Everyone was so mad. I feel like we were all just to each other like, I can't believe she did that. Like, we were all so filthy. because we had lost everything and we were like, I don't even know what's in
I
there.
downgraded because we were going to move to Slack and then I was like, we'll just have me as the major user and then everyone can share an email.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I had notes in a to-do list and I was like, oh, that sucks.
And you were like, oh, see if I can find it. And you were like, nope.
It's gone.
It's gone. Sorry.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm missing.
This is what happens when I work Sundays.
Yeah.
Bye.
I should really.
I've been really good with it lately.
You have been, actually.
Well, I can't delete anything.
yeah, true.
Oh goodness.
bit of
So
a tangent.
back to email marketing. So email marketing platforms, we work across a few. If you have been following us, you would know we are MailerLite stands.
We
Die
love
hard.
MailerLite.
Die
As soon as someone comes to me and if the start of their sentence is mail and doesn't end in anything other than alright, I'm disappointed and I'm like, and how happy are you with that platform? Because I'm going to change you off in about 0.2 seconds.
But again, we will let you stay on it if you want to stay on it.
we
If
will.
you're established, we're fine. So we do work across MailerLite, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign.
Yeah.
We have worked with a couple others, but they're probably the main three.
Yeah.
We personally are on ActiveCampaign.
Yeah.
We're obviously a bit of a bigger business, so it works really well for us. But we really recommend MailerLite. And there's a couple of reasons to that. Number one, it is so easy. Once you understand how to use it, the usability of it is
So incredibly user-friendly.
And for example, I'm using MailerChimp at the moment with a consultant client, and I'm like, "What is this? Where do I put things?"
It's honestly
I
so
don't understand.
hard. Like even just to make a block of text the
I'm like,
same size and font.
Like drag and drop, please.
Oh my God. Oh, it kills
It's-
me. I haven't had to log into a MailChimp in a very long
And look,
time.
we just don't use it every day. We use MailerLite every day, so we know how to use
Yeah,
it.
look-
But as well, MailerLite, there's a couple reasons. Number one, the open rate is really fantastic on MailerLite.
Yeah.
It's classed within the top 10 platforms. Number two, it is cheap. So MailerLite is one of the only platforms that you can have automation set up and not pay for a subscription on MailerLite if it's under 1,000 subs.
Under 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So much is included in the free account. Like so much.
And honestly, you don't need anything. You don't need anything special. You only need something simple. And again, if you get to that scaling, if you, like where I would love to be on MailerLite, but we're on a different platform. But it's just the cheapest, it's the easiest, and we have a lot of faith in it. We really, really like it.
Even the next one up is like $10 a month.
Yeah. Well, I think it's 19 now. I think it's gone up a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
that's probably pricing
it's
from
like
a year ago. So.
it's like USD prices. Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So MailerLite's the one that we recommend, and again, we recommend setting up an email marketing platform because you want to collect all your leads and you want to nurture them. You want to talk to them. You want to have a bit of a yap in the inbox. And especially when it comes to email marketing, the marketing isn't the only function.
No. It's definitely where you do your nurturing, where you do
It's your systems.
lead generation. It's the basis of your systems.
Yeah. And it will connect to your systems. And connecting email, for example, a limitation with MailChimp that we didn't know is that you can't see what time people open it. And that's really important when it comes to marketing. Yeah. I have a client, he's like, Ash, I cannot find it for the life of me. And I'm like, I don't know where to find it. It's your systems. And as Kira is our systems girl, integration on MailerLite is easy.
So easy. They have their own API integration. So a lot of the time you can generate your own API token, which is how...
What's API?
I don't actually know what API is.
So API is basically a little code that a platform has, and it's basically Zapier.
Yeah.
And
Well, I know that it's a
basically...
code. I thought you were going to say what API means.
No.
I was like, I don't know what it stands for.
So, okay, we have an analogy for this as well, actually. We're going to save it for the Zapier. But think of API as the middleman.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Our analogy for this is a dysfunctional family. It is when you've got two family members that won't talk to each other and you have to be the relay in between and you do the communicating between the two.
Yeah.
And you're Zapier. But
That's what
you're
API,
the API.
is.
That's
and
essentially what it
Zapier is basically API.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So that's what...
It's your middleman.
It's the middleman between your dysfunctional family members, making them talk to each other and making it work.
Two platforms that usually wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to connect up. It's super cheap.
Yeah.
And it honestly, I can connect things to MailerLite, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, you don't need help for that one. The only thing is getting your domain connected, verified and authenticated, which is that whole DNS settings and everything that I mentioned before, is hard. And you shouldn't feel bad for not knowing how to do that, because it took me a lot of like reading and YouTube videos, and every different domain platform that you have is different to connect, of where it is in your domains, where to find it, where to put it, all that sort of stuff. GoDaddy, coming back to this, it's a button, log in, and it adds it in for you. Yeah. So
let's actually break this down, because even you're talking about this, I'm like, what? So when you set up an email marketing platform, you'll have a login, and then you have to connect your email. So for example, your login could be ashleyrobertson@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But then the domain that you connect is what you're sending your email marketing from. So it's completely different. So basically, in order to direct it to the domain, and this has been our biggest headache for the last few months.
Yeah.
Basically, in order to connect your email marketing up to send emails, you need to direct the domain to the email marketing account, and it is a headache because of the new laws.
Yeah. So essentially, when you set up, let's just use MailerLite for example, you will set up your account and it'll say, what is your website? And you'll put in your website URL, and then it will ask you, what is your domain email connected to that domain? So you have to have the website URL, and then you have to have the domain email name as well. And then it will ask you to verify it, and then it will ask you to authenticate it, and which are two separate steps that it's just like, yes, this is a valid business. And then it's, yes, this is a verified email account. And then authenticating it is authenticating that the emails can come to and from your email. And that's the DNS.
Yeah. Back in the day, like back a few months ago, you didn't have to worry about it.
Not at all.
You could just send emails from your Gmail account.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a new update. It's quite frustrating, and this is what Kira does.
It is. And then even the new issue is that your domain settings, this is a new problem that some people are coming back with, is they're saying like all of a sudden they're not getting any emails. And so what has happened is, in the DNS settings, you can only have one set of sender settings in your DNS settings. I feel like I'm saying settings a million times. But what that means is you have to combine any separated sender DNS name servers into the one, and it has to work for both your Outlook or Gmail that your domain email is purchased from and your MailerLite. So they both have to be in the same one.
You've completely lost me.
Well, that's why people come.
I've got like that clapping monkey in my head. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
So basically, just book a call with Kira.
Yeah, and it is hard, and it even takes me like a good few goes, and for some reason, like honestly, like that part is difficult, and it won't talk to each other for ages, and then I'll redo it like 3 or 4 times, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
We're working.
Yeah. Super confusing.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So the email marketing is definitely one we get the most questions on. I think a lot of our clients just go with MailerLite anyways.
Yeah. I think once we mention it, they're like, great, I'm not on any.
Because it's really hard. I mean, we do provide training on how to use MailerLite and what to do with it. We are going to have a deep dive on email marketing, what's included and everything like that. We love a good setup on email marketing.
Yeah.
But that is definitely the next step. And then on top of that, there are different kinds of platforms. So Calendly, I actually want to dive into Calendly because I feel like a lot of people just know it as a booking link.
Yeah.
There are so many capabilities on Calendly that so many people are unaware of.
All right. I'm keen to hear about them.
Oh, okay. I'll
educate
educate them.
For anything.
Call me the systems queen. So obviously it's important to have a booking link. And a lot of people are using Google Meet at the moment, which is fine. I just have no idea how to use it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't think I've used it.
I think because I've got a Mac and you've got to like unlock the padlock. If you've got a Mac, you know what I'm talking about. But it's confusing.
Like,
so the next platform that we tend to set people up on is Calendly.
Yeah.
And so many people just think it's a booking site. Calendly is so much more than that. Like you can have automated text, automated emails, follow-ups. So for example, every time I take an inquiry for our business, an email will be sent out an hour later with our PDFs, our prospect guide, so I don't need to do it.
Do we? Wow.
So it's like you can optimize it so much that you don't need to do anything. So if a customer books an inquiry with you and, you know, you want to send an information pack when your package is following the call, it does it for you already, and you out of sight, out of mind.
I actually do love the fact that you can send reminder text for it as well, because so many people book in a call and then forget that they've got a call.
Oh, yeah.
Even with reminder text set up, some people still miss a call.
Yeah.
But you can set up a text. People love a text instead of an email. People don't check their emails constantly.
Yep.
So being able to just do that for people is really handy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love Calendly. I think it's really good. There is a new one on the market. I can't remember what it's called. It's really, really cheap. Calendly is expensive. It is an expensive app to use. I think we pay like $60 a month for it. Yeah, okay. Which is just nuts. But we have multiple users.
Yeah, we do.
But definitely Calendly as well.
Yeah.
During the setup process, are there any other systems that you get a lot of questions around? Besides training apps?
Besides training apps is like a whole nother thing
whole
in itself.
We're going to have to like an hour and a half for that episode. Honestly. I guess for this episode, let's give some considerations to picking softwares.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of, they do it, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's really normal because you don't want to think about it. And this is the best part about the business moves. We take all that guesswork out.
Yeah.
But I think considerations when picking platforms is what works for someone else doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
100%.
You need to be educated around your decision.
That's, pretty much with any platform that you do anything on. Like we could even give you a recommendation, but then it's missing something that you wanted to do, or even just because you're used to a platform, you can stay on it. Yeah. Just because we're even giving you a suggestion doesn't mean that you need to do it either. Like we've said before, we're not here to change everything that you do. Yeah. We're just here to make it work as best as possible.
Yeah, make it optimized. And you have attachments to platforms. I'm pretty attached to some platforms.
Yeah.
Definitely. Getting rid of Slack was like, I don't want to do this.
Slack was good.
It was so good.
But yeah, I understand that people have attachments to it, but then sometimes when you show them what another platform can actually do, they're like, oh, wow.
And I think that's the thing. Like, for example, Kahunas has DNS. You can put your email marketing through Kahunas. Yeah. And that means you can market through the platform. You don't need to do anything external, which, again, you know my thoughts on that. But it is great for welcome emails and inquiry emails and things like that.
And automations to be able to send their welcome email straight from your email. It doesn't look like it's come from a training app, welcoming them into that, like the invitation that you get when you add a client into an app, and it's normally from the training app itself being like, you've been invited to blah, blah, blah's app, where Kahunas will be like, you've been invited by me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's funny. You educate on that, and then you educate on Everfit's Autoflow. I know I'm such an Everfit girl. I love it.
She's a die-hard Everfit fan.
You know what? I've been using Everfit for 2 years. I've been using Everfit for 2 years, and I have had the best experience as a customer on it.
Yes. And look, I do like Everfit.
I have the patience of an ant.
Yes. But you use it as a user, not as a coach, as a coach.
We're slowly going down the rabbit hole. But I also love Everfit because of the autoflows. Like, are you joking?
I was going to say, you love Everfit because it tells you how many corgis you lifted after you work.
God retrievers. Like, you've listed 15 corgis today. Thank you. I'm strong. No, the autoflow function, I'm huge on that. Yeah. I think it's amazing. I think it's good. Really, really good.
Being able to send the automated messages every single week, setting up the customer experience within their app, not using an external app kind of thing.
Internal resources.
It is really good. Internal resources.
And I think the thing I love about Everfit the most is, and again, I'm not talking about coachability because that's not our area, but in general, they do the simple things really well. And when it comes to picking a software, as a coach, correct me if I'm wrong, you want something that programs well, you want something that communicates with your clients well, and you want something that integrates to different platforms to track. It does it so well. It's so simple, and there's no bells and whistles, because let's be real, at the end of the day, I don't want a bell and whistle if my bloody platform doesn't work.
Yeah, which is fair. It all kind of depends on what it has and also the cost of it. We're ending up going too far into the training app side of things. This is a whole nother thing, but going into like comparing what the training apps do.
Yeah.
And how developed you are as a coach.
Yeah.
Also, like it all depends.
Who your target market is. Like, you know, Everfit is great for mums and like pre and postnatal because it has the on-demand where you can follow without doing an exercise. Whereas, you know, Trainer Eyes might be better for the beginners in the industry because it's really gimmicky and it's got the celebratory, and Kahunas is better for a, you know, any coach, but particularly a newer coach because it's lower cost. Yeah. So there's, I think with off-the-shelf solutions, there's limitations to everything. Yeah. It's just understanding that, and that's something that we can guide you through.
Yeah, definitely. And sort of what your services that you offer and what you want the hero to be in the app of what you offer.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we've got to pull ourselves out of this hole right now because we're going to go straight down.
Just a general overview. That's your recap of it, and now we need to move on. Otherwise, we'll get stuck.
But I do want to ask you a few questions around systems. So when it comes to a coach setting up the systems, what's the number one biggest tip that you can provide?
Setting up, keep it simple. Keep it so simple. Have the basics, make it work, and then build from there.
Yep. Yeah. And what considerations would you ask them to take? Now I'm testing you. It's like, what do we make them do before we change things? What? You're like, don't ever change a system because someone told you to. Put everything past your customers.
Trial everything yourself. Put yourself through your onboarding process. Put yourself into the app. Trial it out to make sure that you like everything and it works before you put clients through it.
Yeah, put a couple of your OGs on there, the ones that have been with you forever.
Get a couple of friends. Yeah. Like put a friend or two on there, put a family member on there and get raw, honest feedback and be like, I'm going to put you through this and I want you to tell me how easy it is, how annoying this was, or what you did like, what you didn't like. And then you can work it out from there because that's going to be the only way that you know. And also use it as yourself, as a user, so that when a client comes to you and asks you a question about your app, you know how to answer it. Or ask you a question about the form they're filling out, what they're signing, what you've given them. You need to know how to answer that. Otherwise, basically you look like an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, with systems, I think it's really important to trial it, of course, and it's going to change over time because the industry is so quickly innovating. But in saying that, with your systems, your main goal is to remove resistance. So, for example, the payment app Nui, that we recommend Nui to everyone. They're great. They have removed resistance so much that they've included Apple Pay. And there's actually a study that states that people are 30% more likely to purchase if there's Apple Pay. Because if I need to go find my debit card, goodbye, I'm not signing up because I have time to think about the reasons why I shouldn't sign up. Yeah. So it's really thinking about how can I remove this resistance. One, bang, Apple Pay. Don't need to put my card details in. Can't even think. Tap, I've paid, I'm paying. There's no tapping out of it.
Yeah. Even while you're on a call with someone, you could be like, I'm going to flick the link through to you. Sign up. And you can kind of be like, I just want to make sure that you've gotten it. There's no problems.
And this is
getting on board.
Same with inquiries. I feel like we see this a lot. Onboarding forms as inquiry forms, no.
No, absolutely not. If I went to inquire with you and I've got to fill out all of my personal details and everything about my life. I don't want to
tell you about my history.
Absolutely not. No. What if we don't actually vibe?
And I know it's important to screen your client. 10, 15 questions max. Quick, easy, because when you're on the call, screen them. And then give them the onboarding form. Process. Yeah. I think removing the focus on removing that resistance from your client. Humans are innately lazy. If we can get away with doing nothing, we will. So make it as simple as humanly possible. And especially when you're in your building phases, do a little bit more on the back end. Yeah. Because if your customers need to do more, it's going to cause chaos. Yeah. So really opting for apps that, are simple, easy, get them access. The least amount of steps there are to getting set up with the program, the better it is, because that's where your customer experience comes in within week 0. That's when you can start asking all the juicy questions. That's when you can start mapping out the different milestones. Just get them on board after you've screened them as quickly as possible. And that's another thing too. Now I'm going to go down a rabbit hole about this. With Nui, I think they are connecting to Zapier really soon.
They're trying to.
Yeah, I think they are.
They've got to remove the ability for people to hide their emails. That's the problem. Right. So if people can hide their emails upon purchasing, it won't zap because it can't get their email.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So with Nui, there is obviously that limitation of, you know, when you purchase on Stripe, you can zap it to an email to say welcome. With Nui, you can't do that. So there's a limitation on Stripe, whereas in order to purchase, they need to get their card details, but then you have the Pro. Whereas on Nui, you have the Pro of Apple paying it, but the limitation is the rest of that is manual. The next step is manual. So it's like, really, where are you going to put your efforts? What kind of client do you have? And again, it differs. You know, newbies use Nui because you want to get them in. Athletes, Stripe's fine. Yeah. Because they already know they're going to sign up to coaching. They're not going to try and back out.
They'll put that little bit of extra effort in because they're like, yep, I want to go ahead. I want this coach. Like, I want my spot. Like,
and it's understanding there's limitations to all systems.
Yeah. That's every single one. There's pros and cons to every single one.
Even training apps, they're not going to work the way that you want them to. Training apps are really new too. Like, honestly, like compared to 2 years ago, we used to sell spreadsheets.
Yeah.
People used to come to us. Well for training we used to have at least 20 clients have spreadsheets, customized spreadsheets a month, minimum. I had a capacity of 15 to 20 clients a month spreadsheets. Yeah. And it was so busy and people wanted them because 2 years ago that was a new thing. If you put a spreadsheet in front of a coach's face today, they're going to be like, brother, ew, like, I don't want that. Like,
there's a very niche, there's a very niche bunch of coaches that still are die-hard spreadsheet fans. And
usually they've got athletes.
And that's right. And it's usually athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually they don't want all the bells and whistles. They're like, what am I training? What am I eating? Let's go.
I just want to track it. I don't want a gimmicky app. I just want bang, bang, bang.
Data.
Yeah. So it understanding how quickly things are innovating. And I can guarantee you by end of financial year, systems will change again.
Yeah.
There are new training apps coming to the market. I know of 3 launching this year.
Yeah.
There are new forms coming to the market. There are new integrations and APIs coming out.
But also, just going back, just because they're new, don't get shiny object syndrome.
Yes. I mean, it's great. It's great to
test
research and test and have a bit of a play. Honestly, I really recommend do a full block of training on the app before you get someone on there, or get a client that's just like, like we all have them clients that are like, I'll do anything. Like, let me have a play.
People love being the first. People love being a guinea pig.
Understanding that like with new platforms, like with new softwares, yes, it's exciting because they've got these big promises, but tech takes a long time to develop and it's very, very costly. And we have seen this so many times across the apps, so much the death by scale. And then heaps of problems pop up. There's heaps of complaints. Then people that have moved from one app to another, they want to move to another because there's so many problems and they can't fix it because of the amount of people that are on it. And this is something that you can't get rid of. Like you can't smooth out in a roadmap. But just be patient.
Yeah.
And just see if it's going to work. And some apps might be absolutely incredible. That's why I'm a big lover of Everfit because they've been, if you really think about it, they've been very consistent across the years.
They have been pretty consistent. But then also keep in mind that since there are more apps coming out, apps that haven't had to be competitive before are now having to be competitive.
Yeah. And it's a great example is Trainerize.
Yes.
They're
big dogs.
They were like, we own the space.
We are not updating. And now that there's a few more out there, the updates that are coming through from them, they've just added in voice memos.
Yeah, so they're so little bit of background on this. So Trainerize is obviously the OG app on the market, been around for yonks. Everyone's been on Trainerize. They were bought out by the ABC.
Yeah.
And when they got bought out, that's when the update stopped.
Yeah.
And then now that there's some big bad competitors on the market like Kahuna's and Everfit, I reckon they're in like damage control. They're like, oh my God, people are leaving us.
People are leaving.
Now we're adding voice memos and it's like, you're 6 months too late to the game now because, you know, Kahuna's is adding in the Vault and Everfit is adding in meal plans and autoflow. And it's like, you know, they're playing, you got to watch it. Yeah. And we're going to be giving app updates in this podcast, We'll be giving...
I was actually just thinking, somehow we thought we were stopping at trading app talk and we somehow circled back to it again. Clearly it's a hot topic for us.
We're going to cut it off.
But it will be interesting to see what happens to the apps over even the next year. Even by the end of this year, I think, there will be a lot of updates.
Like, we love them all. They all have they're all really good in their own right, but we're just here to let you know of the updates, and we will be doing like what's new, what updates are coming through. Like, for example, I just mentioned that Everfit, they've got the A/B testing for the meal plans out now.
Yeah.
So the beta testing. So we'll be giving updates on like the different things that we see in the background of apps too, just to give you like an educated viewpoint on them.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Let's move
We
off
got
training apps. we have to move on.
It's like a black hole. I reckon we could record for 6 hours and just talk about
Honestly, it's kind of all I look at for a lot of the portion
it's your
of
whole
my
job.
week.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a few training apps that I need to build out at the moment, and yeah, like it's what I spend a lot of time doing.
Yeah.
So it's at the forefront of my mind
Always.
a lot.
And it's the main problem our coaches have, our customers have.
And it's also the main app you will use. So it is important, like so important.
Exactly, because your app is the core of your business and your customer experience is what's going to keep your clients.
It could be the reason someone signs with you or doesn't sign with you. Like, I know of people who have had, like, I have gone to have an inquiry with a coach and they found out what training app they were using, it put them off them.
Yep.
And they were like, oh no, I'm not signing up to a coach that uses that training
So it's
app.
a really, really important decision and not one that you should be rushed.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Let's cut it. Move on. All right. So that is everything for today's episode around systems. We hope that you got a little bit of knowledge around this one. These are some topics that, you know, we kind of block out because they're too hard. So it's been really good to hear it from the systemization queen herself.
Yeah. Let us know what you think, and let us know let us know what training app you use. Let us know if we've hurt you in any way of the systems that you use and what you have in place. But yeah, hopefully you learnt what a domain is.
Now you know your house. You got your land, you can build your house. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. As usual, if you do have any inquiries, make sure to book in with us because we can help you with your systems. That is what we are here for. We hope you enjoyed this episode and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.